Welcome to The Profile. My name is Gary Dunn and I'm your host. I've just been told off by Mark Whitehouse because I didn't say the right thing. So we had to start again. Now, on the couch, or the chair, tonight, we have the one and only Mr. Brendon Darby. How are you, Brendon?
G'day, Gary.
Yeah,
and thanks for having another crack at it.
Mate, look, was that all right, Mark? Does that satisfy you? Good. We can go on. Is that all right, producer?
Well, not really.
Not really? You thought I could do better. Would you like to do it again?
No,
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Where were you born?
Here, Perth, Western Australia.
Which hospital?
St John of God.
Mount Lawley, is that? Or
Wherever that is.
I don't know where I am at the moment.
It's over there, Subi Way or
Yes.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What instruments do you play?
Well, my primary instrument's trumpet, Flugel Horn. I did play drums for a while, so I'd like to run that up the flag post every now and then. We'll see. Yeah.
And so what was the moment in your life where you decided to play music? Because I believe you could read at an early age. And
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a blur because my dad was a muso and he used to hang around with musos. You would have thought he would have learnt and not encouraged me, but I seem to remember in my youth, weekend barbecues were always at a muso's place and everyone would jam there. It was amazing, you know, but it was the norm. So I didn't really think about becoming a muso. It's just that everyone was a muso around me.
so that was normal.
It was just the norm. And there were guys a guy called Jimmy Beeston, great piano player, Brian Bursey, bass player. Yeah,
Brian.
those guys used to play with my dad, and my dad played in some reasonably good bands, played drums.
Yeah.
And so I just used to go along to gigs and family dues, and they were always playing. So it just sort of happened until one day, I guess I was about 9, when my dad took me to Musgrove's music store, and we were standing out the front looking in the window, and he said, "What do you want to play?"
That was the original Murray Street store before
That's
it
the
burnt
one,
down.
yeah. And there was a beautiful shiny trumpet in the window. We didn't know about guitars in those days, not real guitars. And so I went for the trumpet. I was a bit small for it, so they got me a cornet instead, you know, the kiddies' trumpet.
Bit smaller, yeah.
And off we go.
Can you remember who sold you that?
No, it was over a week ago. It was.
Bernie Mackey or... God, I
I
worked at Musgrove's. And,
Oh, yeah, but this was,
yeah.
this is, I'm going to dob myself, back in the 50s.
Yeah, well, Ernie was there in the 50s.
Yeah, okay.
So young brass, 1964, could read music, supported Johnny Farnham.
Well, that's moving on a bit now. I think I was probably...
Would you like to go back? Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. The young brass was an interesting development because I was studying music with a few other chaps that played brass instruments as well, and we were in the Young Australia League back then. They had a big band, and so we put this band together called the Young Brass, which was tremendously imaginative back then for 3 young kids with a drummer. Rick Whittle was the drummer, in fact.
Right.
He was even younger than me. And we did things like go on showcase, Gordon Boyd's Showcase. I don't know if you were around for that.
No, I wasn't, but
It was a talent quest that was broadcast out of Melbourne every year.
Rick talked about it.
And that was great fun. So we were touring nice and early and doing all that sort of stuff.
Unbelievable. And as you got older, you joined Ssarb, which was brass spelled backwards.
I think what happened was when you mentioned John Farnham, we started backing artists like that, and we moved into our teenage years and started thinking, hang on, the young brass is not going to work for us forever, playing Tijuana brass stuff. So we started to get a bit hipper and thought we better change the name. So somewhere in there we thought, let's drop the young brass, and we became Ssarb. And I'm not quite sure where that flash of genius came from to reverse brass and make it Ssarb.
I think Rick said it was his idea.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most of the good ideas were his.
Of course.
The octopus. But and there was also the Rolf Harris and...
Yeah, well, we used to back most acts that came into town because we could all read. And back then, a lot of these acts wanted brass in their bands, you know, in their backing bands.
Would you have been the first young boys that he had? You know, like
Where is that going?
No, that might sound
that was
funny.
Rick Whittle.
Oh, okay.
That was Rick.
That was Rick.
Again, Rick was first for everything.
He was first for everything. He took it for the team.
He did.
Look, okay, so then you started to do session work because you could read.
Yeah.
And I remember the Upson Big Band.
That's right. Yeah, that was fun with Will and all those guys.
Yeah.
But back then we took it for granted. There was session music everywhere. You know, all the advertising was done locally, and it was great, especially for horn players. It was just what we did. We played gigs at night and did sessions during the day. It was amazing, really.
There were so many gigs, so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to think now, still playing now myself, but yeah, it's hard to find a gig.
Yeah, especially session work, you know, for advertising, really tough. And as we moved on, of course, the call for brass dropped a bit as rock and roll really took over when we got heavier and heavier. So that's when I started playing drums for a little while.
Right.
And I stressed for a little while. I wasn't all that good, but I had to do something. There wasn't a lot of work around for trumpet players.
But could you still hang out with musicians being the drummer, or?
Yep. Well, here's name dropping.
Thank you. The nameometer will start to move.
Probably the best known band I played drums with was the Dave Hole Band.
Oh, wow.
For a while.
Excellent.
Yep. Again, short-lived career, and I'm not quite sure how I got out of the drums and back into trumpet again, but I think maybe funk started to come back into it, and there was a crossover situation there.
Well, it was longer than a week ago, so you're not going to remember that.
Exactly.
So this is going to be hard getting some stuff out.
Oh, you're going to battle with the dates.
Yeah. So you joined Manteca, which is one of my favourite bands.
It was one of my favourite bands too.
Yeah.
Uwe Stengel's creation. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was just great fun. And we had fantastic writers and arrangers.
Yeah. One album that I think you recorded was, sorry to cut you off there.
Yeah, there's a photo on the back. Manteca,
Yeah.
I made a bad career move with Manteca, and I went away to Europe before they did that huge series out of the ABC.
Yes.
And Rolly Santos took the gig on trumpet, and he's a fantastic trumpeter, so I probably picked a good time to go to Europe and let him have the gig. But yeah, that would have been nice to do. I believe it was hard work.
Yes.
Tough to get that many guys working in those sort of conditions, very strict conditions. So yeah, maybe it was good I ran away.
We've got Pub Legends of Perth, which is something that you can get at ProCopy, and you're on here, Manteca, along with the magnificent band Harlequin Tears.
I don't think I was in Harlequin Tears though.
No, but I was just making the point. Harlequin
Tears.
Was
that another good band?
Oh, absolutely unbelievable.
I thought maybe I played drums for them, or
some guy I know played drums for them.
Yes.
Yeah, he likes a bit of a plug.
Yep.
He keeps saying, "Don't mention my name," but there's V Capri as well.
Yes.
Yeah, V Capri and Harlequin Tears, and
I actually did some work with V Capri.
Did you?
I did.
Tell me.
The drummer mightn't mention this, but there was a stage where it was for, I'm not sure which of their albums, might have been their first. They required some programming of drums, and I was with a publishing house that had the first Linn drum, which was a famous drum machine.
Yes.
I think we had the first in Australia, and I was lucky enough to be the first guy that knew how to program it, so I got the gig with V Capri. It was the highlight of my career.
So why did they need programmed drums when they had a drummer, Brendon?
Well, that was just a different sound, you see.
Yes?
Yeah, I was told what to program by the drummer, of course, because he was very, very good.
Yeah. Okay, well, as long as you're always a great team with that drummer, as long as you do what he says.
Exactly, yes, that's right.
I've learned that. So look, getting back to the album, this is $20 at ProCopy, www.procopy.com.au, or call Mark Whitehouse direct on his direct line. Won't give you the number there, and he's shaking his head. But look, all proceeds are going to go to a foundation that we're trying to set up for musicians who fell on hard times. So hopefully we can sell lots of those. So please buy it, especially with Harlequin Tears and the like. But Manteca is certainly gets a good berth on there. So, okay, so you went to Europe.
Well, I was painting then, you see. I've been fortunate in some ways and not very fortunate in others. As you all know, the music industry can be tough at times, and I'd always painted as well. And so I decided at some stage, it was actually a New Year's Eve, or it was the New Year's Day, New Year's Eve gig, and it was at Beethoven's nightclub, I think, and I was playing in a band called the Bad Boogie Band, which was a...
Who was in that band?
Covers band. Billy Lang on guitar, Keith Van Gazel, keyboards.
Name on it is going nuts now.
There you go. Tony Borthwick was playing sax.
Yeah.
Maybe your cousin David Dunn.
Oh, David.
On drums.
Cleared the path for me.
There you go. Anyway, I was playing in this band, and it wasn't the most stimulating band in the world, even though it was full of good players and it made a good sound. We were doing the Ivan Damon circuit around Australia.
Pasha.
Yeah. Hard work.
Yes.
And I found myself at 3 or 4 in the morning, New Year's Day, playing Shake Your Booty. You know, Casey and the Sunshine Band. Shake your boot.
Yeah, I know the song. Yeah.
You know the song?
Yes.
Anyway, it goes on and on. I'm going to go on and on. And I thought, I have to do something else. If this is where music has taken me, that's enough. And so I quit.
Yeah.
And I started painting full time and went broke immediately, of course, out of the frying pan.
Yeah.
And so I battled away for, I guess it was a year or so, painting full time and getting into more and more trouble. And then my very, very good friend Bob Marr rang and said, Brendon, I'm opening Gobble's nightclub as Hello Harrigan's. We're renaming it. And I just want a band in there to get it going. Would you put a band together for me just to get it kicking, you know, do it for a month or two. And he offered me some good dough to do it, and I thought, okay, this is great. I'm saved here.
I never got good dough off him. You must have.
Well, it might have been the bribe just to get it going. You know. No, Bob was always very generous. So the World Famous Oralettes were formed to do that gig, and it was going to be just a month or two, and it ended up going for 4 years, or something like that.
You were crazy. I mean, I played with Our Life and
they were crazy guys, yeah.
And this is the sort of crazy thing you did. I don't know if you want to hold this open and tell us a little about the story behind this. A wedding invitation.
A wedding invitation. Well, we were Dadaists, really. It was a band full of Dada guys. So maximum effort for minimum return was the theory behind that band. And we used to do all sorts of stuff that took forever to do and achieved nothing, really. And in the end, that's what the band achieved, absolutely nothing. Lots of good songs written by people like Jim Rossiter. But this was one silly idea, and it was, how are we going to get a record deal? So we thought, if we send a disc or something to a record company, they're not going to look at it. It'll go with all the other discs. So we sent this giant wedding invitation. And when you open it up, of course, it has all the boys in the nude, so it's going to grab attention immediately. We're hoping for female execs, of course, in the record company. And over here it says, right, we want a good deal and we want it now. Or every newspaper in the world will have this photograph by morning. P.S. We've got the negatives. P.S. We lied about the wedding. Would you like to have a guess as to the response we got to this? We sent this to every major record company in Australia.
No, I just want to know who had the biggest gong.
Ah, well, that would have been...
the guy at the back there with the...
Oh, yeah, the trumpeter.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
So there's this thing about gongs. Yes. Anyway, the response was absolutely nothing. We had no response at all. And I think with the way the band was operating, that was absolutely perfect. It's exactly what we would have expected, and we were very, very happy with that.
So everyone was happy?
Very happy.
Perfect.
And as a result, none of the stuff's been recorded, apart from Jimmy Rossiter's material, which we all know and love.
Yes. So as a painter, who is the most famous, well, people who have purchased your paintings? Would you have a record of that? Or
I don't have the entire record because a lot of the galleries I work for don't like to give you that information, which is a bone of contention because it's nice to know where your work's gone. So a lot of the overseas galleries just don't tell you who their client list is because they don't want you going in the commercial world.
Fair enough. But the name on it could have gone nuts had they
could have gone nuts if I'd known.
Yes.
Is this my way of saying I don't know that any famous people have ever bought any of my paintings?
Well, is that what you're saying?
Not quite. No, there's a few out there, but I don't think I should dob them.
Okay, no, and I'm certainly not pressuring you in any way.
There's a bit of pressure there.
Just calm down there. Well, I get the pressure and I pass it on.
I've painted some famous people, if that's easier, because that's out there in the public record.
Can you please enlighten me on that?
Well, Lucky Oceans. How famous is Lucky?
It's going
Bingo. Well, Kim Beazley, the best Prime Minister we never had.
Yes.
Brian Cadd, another muso.
Stole a bottle of scotch of mine at a gig, but that's another story.
He would never steal your bottle of scotch.
Well, he took it and drank it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Sorry. Are we cutting that?
Yeah, we'll cut that. Yeah. A bunch of other.
Royston
McDaniel. I painted his portrait. Gilly, our famous cricketer.
When we were talking before and you said Gilly, and my producer's going, who's Gilly?
Who's Gilly?
He thought of Gilligan's Island. He thought we were talking about TV shows. Yeah. I mean, fastest centuries he changed the world of cricket, really, didn't he?
He did, and your producer's not to be too heavily dealt with there because the reason...
You're going to defend him?
Well, sort of. I was at a dinner with Gilly and a whole bunch of other people. It was a big table, and my wife was sitting next to Gilly, opposite me, and it was a big long table, and Julie didn't know him at all. She wasn't into cricket, and she said, so what do you do? And he said, I've just written a book. You know, he wrote his biography. And he's very young, was very young then. And she said, do you think anyone would really want to know much about you at this age? You know, she had no idea what he did. We happened to be, and of course it was the silent table thing, you know, everyone,
yeah,
you know, you don't know who Gilly is.
Yes.
Next day we were flying out, we're at the airport, and there's the bookshelf, you know, he's at the airport, thousands of books. I said, there he is, there's Gilly. So you shouldn't knock your producer too hard, you know.
No, okay.
It's a common problem.
Is there someone that coming up you'd like to paint? You know, because I know you do portraits.
Hello. I was just having a look at you thinking, the light's good here, you know?
Yes.
The light's good.
Yeah. I mean, it'd probably be good if you had your brush now. And
well, had I known.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
maybe you could come back and, you know... No, I mean...
Not tonight.
No, not tonight.
Not tonight.
On another interview night.
We'll sort this and it'll be a ripper.
Perfect. So, how many paintings do you do a year?
Well, it varies a bit. This is a particularly busy year, but normally I do a solo exhibition about every 10 months or so. That would involve normally about 30 paintings, but I do commissions, portraits and things in between. But this year I have 3 shows on this year, so it's been a really busy year.
Yeah.
I would think I'll be painting, I don't know, 60 pieces.
Wow. So it's more than one.
In fact, I have to be going now.
You need to quickly get the next one up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Like, so Archibald finalist, Perth Portrait finalist.
Yep.
Many times.
Yeah, a few times the Perth Portrait Prize. Only once as an Archibald finalist.
Yeah.
I keep entering the Archibald and they keep sending them back, but you know that's what you do. It happens to a lot of West Australian artists, unfortunately. Yeah. But I managed to get in once, and I'll battle on, keep trying.
Is that a case of WA, wait a while, or is it?
Well, they used to say that of the Archibald. I don't think that's really the case anymore. Yeah, there was a famous story many years ago of a few artists in Western Australia that were sick of paying the price of freighting paintings over there and thinking that they didn't even look at them, and now this is hearsay, so I don't want to be sued by the Archibald Committee, please. I didn't say this.
Yes.
Apparently they put them in a crate and sent them over, and they rigged the crate to see if it had been opened or not, and it was returned unopened. That was a long, long time ago. But No, I think they're pretty fair now, and there's been a lot of representation from all the states, from all over Australia, and winners from just about everywhere now.
Maybe we need a plebiscite on, you know,
I
painting
think
equality.
So. Well, exactly. No, no, I can't complain. I've been there. It's good.
Excellent. So is it hard to make a living out of art and painting?
It's a bit like music.
Yeah.
Easy, you know.
Easy. I know you're pulling my lariat now.
Talk about out of the frying pan, that one. But it's variable, like the music industry.
Yeah.
And at the moment, the economy's battling.
Yes.
We're in lots of trouble, and paintings are a discretionary spend, so it's the last thing on people's list. So,
are you waiting for that phone call from Bob Maher again, or?
Please, Bob, ring me. Ring me, Bob. I'll give you that £11.13 and 4p I owe you. Yes, Bob's been fantastic for me, and he's a great friend and a very, very funny guy.
Yeah.
He used to, I don't know if you're aware of this, but he still owns clubs around town, but he's always owned clubs and pubs. And as far as I know, he's been thrown out of every club and pub he owns, but he won't tell the bouncer that's throwing him out that he actually owns the club.
That's exactly right.
Isn't that fantastic? I love that.
I recently saw him at the Pecco gig and the Gobbles reunion we had a little while ago, but I mean, you know, he's such a funny joker. Do you mind introducing me to your wife again, Gary, so I can give her another cuddle?
He's a fantastic bloke.
Oh, she loves him.
He used to come up to the World Famous Oralettes. Middle of the set, we're playing away, and he'd just come up and he'd stop the band, you know, we'd sort of crumble, and he'd sack us on the spot, you know. Just great.
Oh, I love that. I love that. He sent us to Broome for 3 weeks to see if we could get some other bands into Gobbles, but it didn't work. So
right.
We were there 9 years. So.
Yeah, fantastic.
So, okay, the first, like, single you bought or album, what was the first music you really got into? Herb Albert, obviously.
Yeah, I'm thinking it probably was the Mighty Tijuana Brass, but it was so long ago, and as I said, our family was surrounded by music and albums and that sort of thing. I'm not quite sure how that would have happened. You know, my dad and I would go to music shops often and look at instruments and things, and I'd just be hanging around him because he was the muso. And so I guess I was involved in the selection of albums back then. He was into big bands, of course. So yeah, probably on my own, Herb Albert, Tijuana Brass, or something similar.
Because in those days you could get a bus into town, it was vibrant, you had Musgroves and Vox 80, and you go you know, back and forth between there. And
it was terrific.
It was fun.
But most of my life is a big blur, but that part in particular, because it was just a transition through my early childhood into music without even noticing a decision, really.
Yeah. So let's move sideways a bit. Other jobs throughout your life, or musicians have to supplement their, and artists, obviously. Is there something you've done that you can tell us about?
Not many, fortunately, not many. I think primarily because I'm psychologically unfit to work for anyone else. I just can't get that together. But I did try a few times. I'm proud to say I've cleaned most of the windows on the Sheraton Hotel when it was built. And as you can imagine, there's lots of them, and when it's first built, they're covered in some sort of waxy protection thing, so it was a horrible
you're on
job.
one of those.
Yeah, you know, it never ended, you know. And I have delivered frozen chickens for Ingham's.
Oh.
Very proud of that. I worked for the National Screen Company, which sounds pretty romantic, as a telephone query clerk in London for a little while. And the only other day job or real job I think I've had was for Initial Towels, which delivered industrial laundry in London, which used to start at 5 in the morning and was finished by about 11 every morning, and it was fantastic. It's where I really got to know the Poms. They were lovely people because they always offered you a cup of tea that time of the morning. It was great.
So you've had a few jobs.
Yeah, they never lasted long though. Wasn't very good.
Who's your favourite band of all time?
Ouch. Yeah, probably Steely Dan, I think. Not really a band because there was two of them and changing lineup around them, but yeah, if I had to go and see a band,
Yeah, fantastic. So if you were stranded on a deserted island,
Mm-hmm.
what album would you take with you? What album would you want to listen to? What sort of music?
That's a problem because I've got lots of great albums that I love to listen to, but I get bored with them, so I keep wanting new material. But if I had no choice, I would take, I think, Jim Rossiter's collection of albums, only because, well, first of all, there's some fantastic music on there, there's great writing, but also there's lots of personal connections with a lot of that material over the years, and I understand a lot of the stories and where they came from.
Do you play on some of them?
Yeah, I played on some of them. Yeah, recorded some of the stuff with him. And
because I know him and Pithers have got that thing going where they play The Sound of Music every time when they put it in. And
we both have home studios, so he comes over occasionally and does something there, and we work together like that. Most of that stuff happened during the Oralettes days, of course, and not so much these days as I'm painting more. Yeah.
Best Perth band you saw live?
This would be Dobbing, wouldn't it? Not Dobbing.
Dob away.
Really, the one that moved me the most, I think, was probably a band called Bakery, way back. Yeah.
And I get that a bit on this show.
Yeah. There's lots of them, Johnny Myers bands and heaps of them. I just love various incarnations of all of those players.
And we were really lucky to be a part of that and to experience live bands. I mean, you can't sort of experience that today, can you?
Not as much, no.
So, favourite TV shows growing up?
The one I remember watching the most and really loving was F Troop.
Yeah.
Because it was just total lunacy. It was great. Brilliant characters. Pretty out of it for those days, I mean, it was pretty brave, I think, looking back at it. Yeah, it was good fun.
Yeah. We've got this guitar here, and we are going to give it away on telethon.
Ooh.
Well, not give it away, we're going to raise as much money as we possibly can to help underprivileged people.
Okay.
Now, I've got a black pen and a white pen. I'd really love you to sign it and be a part of...
Glad I got here when I did. There's nowhere left. Oh, there we go. On the side.
On the side, I'll give you a white one.
Yeah, beauty.
So, please...
you realise I'm going to have to charge you a fortune for the signature.
That's okay, because I'll just bill the producer, Al.
Fair enough.
And
it's a fair cop.
do you want my credit card number?
If you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
Just the last 4 digits.
Yeah, okay. Do you want me to put... Yeah. So thanks for doing that.
You're very welcome. It's
really
good fun to reminisce.
Yeah, it's really appreciated. And hopefully we can get some money for a good cause. And
I'm sure you will, and I've really enjoyed
Thank you.
the others that I've seen that you've produced. It's fantastic.
yeah,
If I were a really talented muser, I'd play you a tune to go out, but
same. If I was
not.
talented, I'd do the same thing. I'd be ripping it in there. Okay, so what does the future hold for you?
Well, more painting and more music. My musical career's moved in a different direction now. What I like to do, I still write and record a lot of stuff, but I like to write music to go with my paintings. So I have a calling card called Listening to Paintings, and I've had some exhibitions where each painting on the wall has a piece of music to go with it. So I try to describe the landscape or the subject musically as well as with paint.
It's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's perhaps borrowing a little bit from the movie world thematic attitude, where I think if I get that right and someone's looking at the painting, if the music's right, it adds more than one dimension to it, as the right music for a film does. I don't want to overstate that, but that's what I'm working on a lot at the moment.
I was a little bit intrigued before when we were talking to you off camera about a photo that Al saw and explained how your face at Blackwood River, you were telling me the story about how... Can you just enlighten me on that again? Because
I'm not really sure why or how this painting happened, because I was working towards another exhibition and this had nothing to do with it, and it wasn't going in that exhibition. But for some reason I just was thinking about Nannup and the Blackwood River, where I used to have a studio many years ago, and I love that place. And this place is very isolated. And if I had to say to you, this is my place on this planet where I really feel I belong, it's that spot in that very isolated forest, bush, on the Blackwood River. And for some reason I decided to paint my face into the side of the bank, the rocks of the river on the Blackwood, half of it, so half submerged, and the other half is reflected in the water. And as I say, I'm not really sure why I painted that. It was for no specific reason except I felt about it. And so I entered that in the Perth Portrait Prize last year, and it was a finalist in that. Probably the best thing about that was, as a portrait prize, it looked like a landscape at a glance. And I saw a lot of people come into that exhibition and stand there and have a bit of a moan about it, I guess. That's not a portrait. And then you'd see their head go, whoop, because the face is on its side and reflected in the water, so you'd have to really turn it up this way to see the face. Just an interesting experiment, and I like that idea of getting a little more personal about the paintings and involving myself in them and my experiences, my life experiences. Those things always seem to hold a little more magic than a painting for a painting's sake. I guess it's a bit like a song, you know, if it's a personal song that you're writing from an experience you've been through and it works, it's better than bunging one out there, you know.
Well, it's obviously a special place to you, and
it is a very special place.
Came through that painting. Obviously.
My wife Julie and I often say, particularly these times as the weather's beautiful right now, oh, it'd be beautiful in Nannup today. We say that often. You know, we said it today as we were walking. Be beautiful in Nannup today. It's a great spot.
Where can I see your paintings? Is there a website or?
Yes. I have a website, brendondarby.com.
Yeah.
But you can see them at Linton and Kay galleries in the city.
I'd love to.
Subiaco, I have a show coming up there in November that I'm working on at the moment.
Yeah. What date in November?
It's the end of November. It previews for a week before the official opening, but I can't give you the exact date, but it's end of November preview.
I'll see you there.
Oh, great.
I'd never been to an exhibition, so it'll be my first time.
Well, while I'm painting your portrait, I'll put you on the mailing list. There we go. It's all fixed.
Perfect. It's a match made in heaven, really.
Perfect.
Thank you. I wonder what you could enter that one in. You never know, it might be.
The Archibald. What do you think? I reckon you'd get me over the line.
I know a few jealous people already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Simo?
Yes, absolutely. So, whoops. So, do you have any unfulfilled ambitions?
Painting me.
Yeah, painting Simo as well, of course.
Why does he have to wreck everything?
I don't know. It's part of the gig, I guess, producer. Yeah. Unfulfilled. Yes, I guess there's just always music to write and paintings to paint, and as we've all experienced recently, there's not a moment to waste. You know, I'm getting on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, nothing specific. I've been very, very lucky. I've got great friends, beautiful wife and kids and beautiful family. So I've just been so lucky. I think, and I've said this often to people, I was born at the perfect time in the perfect place to do what I've done to this point. You know, there's nothing clever about what I've done. I was just in the right place at the right time.
Timing is, I've always said it, timing is everything. You know, especially for a drummer.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we won't go into that. Okay. So do you collect anything?
I am a bit of a hoarder. But I have, probably like a lot of guys, I've got old hard drives and old computers that still work that I'll never use again, but they're working, they're worth nothing to anyone else, so I hang on to them. But I do collect musical instruments, paintings, sculptures, things like that. I have Harry
Excellent.
Bluck's original piano accordion,
Wow.
and I'll learn to play it one day. I used to practice it on the veranda down at Nannup, and it never happened. And the reason I used to practice it there was the only place I think in the world where I could practice a piano accordion without upsetting anyone.
That's funny, that, isn't it? It's I wonder if Tony Cooper's ever going to notice the chicken and the piano. That's another subject,
Right.
isn't it? So what would you put on your gravestone?
Missing you already,
Excellent.
or welcome to the coda. That'll do. Something like that.
Is there anybody that you would recommend to come on this show?
I think you've got just about everyone I know covered. Have you got Royston McDaniel yet?
Well, the episode is coming soon. I can't tell you what episode it is because I'll get in trouble because I'll get it wrong, and there's all this sequential thing, and I want to rush some people in here and there for other reasons.
So we
and I
can't
get told
dob.
off.
We
No,
can't
I can't
dob.
say anything.
What about Bob Marr?
Bob Marr's on the list.
See, you're way ahead of me.
Yeah, yeah. I was just getting him in here.
He'll be here.
Yeah,
He loves a gag.
yeah, I know. And we'll get him in. We certainly will.
Just tell him we'll all be naked. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. He'll be here in a shot.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just tell him my wife's here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Not naked, though.
Maybe later on when I get home.
Uh-oh. I have to be...
Southern fried
look at
chicken.
the time.
Is there any anything we don't know about you? Something that you could share with us that maybe you've never told anyone? Nothing embarrassing. No skeletons in the closet.
I think all the skeletons were released during the World Famous Oralettes. There's nothing to hide. Mark Whitehouse knows everything about me that's ever needed to be known, I'm thinking.
Where was Mark Whitehouse when that photo was taken?
He took it. He actually said, "Come on, guys, get your gear off."
Do you?
I said, "No." He said, "Come on, you will never get a record deal unless you get your clothes off."
I mean, he's trying to get you to have a drink tonight.
He was.
When he was putting your microphone on, he was,
I know.
you know,
Him and Rolf.
extra leg.
Not much of a leg, is it?
Okay, well,
We're getting untidy.
yes, very untidy. Look, I just want to thank you for coming in, and I hope you get that prize
Okay.
for your paintings. And
Thank you.
And you know,
You're going to help me.
I'll gleefully accept your invitation to do a portrait of me.
Perfect.
And just wonderful to talk to you, and nice to see you again.
It was very nice to be seen.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's it, folks. What can I say? Brendon Darby, another legend of the Perth music industry and a great painter. Get to his exhibition.
Linton and Kay Galleries.
Yes.
Subiaco, end of November-ish.
And you can see me there. We can talk. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.
When we first arrived at Karijini Eco Retreat, on our first morning at breakfast, the local butcher bird came up and sat just outside the window from us and sang his magnificent song. And they're territorial, so butcher birds have their own song for their hood. After that, he went through his full repertoire of all the birds we were likely to bump into there. There was ringnecks, there was mudlarks, corellas, all the honey eaters. It went on and on. It was beautiful, and it was almost like his welcome to country for us. So I thought, because I want to make a piece of music while I'm here, I should use some of his song and incorporate that in the music. So I spent the next few days chasing him around, trying to record little samples of him that I'm going to try and translate to Flugel Horn here in the gorge. Does that make sense? Well, we're going to have a go, but this is some of his efforts.